Hello, my peeps. I think. It's minute I'm going to check on my phone because my thing is completely blacked out right now. It's not saying there's no live thing at the top. Let me just look at my channel here. That seems so weird to say. Look at my channel. Look at that. It does say I'm live. Okay. Oy vey on a Monday. Okay. Let's just shake off all the technical. I was doing a video originally. I need to be using my overhead mount today because of what I'm going to show you, but I was originally doing a video and the dog started barking at something and barking, and I thought, oh, and the editing has not been going well lately. So I thought, you know what? I looked at my clock, 2:30. I thought, okay, best intentions. Let's just stop the video. I'll just do a live. 45 minutes it took to stop video. So my camera does this. I don't know what it's doing because even when the video is done, I have to, it saves as an MKV, which I don't know what that is. Oh, I forgot to mute. Just 1 second. It has not been going well lately, so I thought, you know what? Just 1 second. So, and then I has to do a remux to make it an MP4 so that I can upload it. So I don't know what it does when it stops the video. I mean, I was only talking for 10 or 15 minutes at that point. And it just, but my OBS, the system that I use, says stopping recording. And it sat like that for 45 minutes. Oi, again, I don't know. So if you notice the heading, which you probably will see afterwards, it says day 6 and day 7 of the 25 days to an organized craft room. Now, the reason it says day 6 and day 7 is because I won't be doing a live tomorrow or a video or anything. Lord knows I need a break from the trauma of the technology. No, I just will be out of the house most of tomorrow. So day 6, we're going to tackle your current stamps. Day 7, we're going to tackle your retired stamps. They kind of go together. I'm going to start today and see how far I can get and finish tomorrow, right? So I might get into, but basically the steps that I'm going to take and what I'm going to do kind of apply to both sets, and there's a bit of a crossover. So we're doing this in 2 days. I would assume that if most people's craft room is the same as mine or most that I've seen, nobody's going through all their stamps and doing and everything in one short like snap, because we tend to have lots. I have hundreds, literally hundreds of stamp sets. So we're doing both. I mean, I'll get to that in a second, but I'm going to do it because I can't pick my desk up to show you. I'll show you this way. I did sort out my tray. I have sort of 3 areas in my office that have office stationery type stuff. One is the drawer behind me, and it's just got my little like plastic dresser thing, which I think is a bathroom thing. Like I think it's intended for makeup and stuff. It's just this, and I'm pretty sure I got it at IKEA, but it's just got little drawers in it. So one drawer has pens and pencils, like extras. One drawer has markers. One drawer has paper clips. I'm not even one drawer has like all the little feet and bits and pieces off of things that I just keep in there because it's a good place to keep them. Because if you ever knock one of the 4 feet off your cut and emboss machine or your scoring table or your trimmer and it rocks, it'll annoy you. So I keep them. And even like one I lost one of, and all the ones I have are different size. So I took the 3 off, put 4 all on the same size, and then afterwards found the one stuck to something weird. So I put that in there. So I have like shapes and sizes of little feet that are in there as my emergency supply. But anyway, so that one was already done. This is my little, that sits beside, as you can see, my hand tools. Nicely cleaned and organized hand tools. So the top is empty because I took everything out of here and put it in the file cabinet where it belongs. I keep my current catalogs, and then I usually will keep like the last mini. And for a while, I'll keep the last annual catalog around. But in this case, we're like a couple months away from getting the next one. So I've seen it enough. And because sometimes it's, what was the price last time? Was that in the last one? Like I do sometimes looking at that. I will admit most of my stuff now, if I want to see something, I just look it up on my phone or on the computer. So I don't use the paper catalogs as much as I did, but for reference, I don't save all the files. And I mean, I prefer to look at the paper one, but sometimes it's just a convenience thing. And then my bottom shelf, so there's the clipboard on the bottom just sits like on the bottom. And then the bottom shelf, I have like posters for my classes, on my clipboards that I track the RSVPs, and I have a spreadsheet that I use for when I'm booking facilities and planning an event that says, okay, did you pick a date? Did you book a facility? Did you make the samples? Did you take a picture? Did you do a poster? Like just all the steps. Because sometimes I'm like, well, where am I at? So that was that one. And then I did take all my binders. I cleaned all the little loose things that I had crammed in there. Like the rest is all organized. I had a bunch of stuff jammed in there. So it either went in the recycle bin, in the file cabinet, or I do currently, because I have yet to figure out what to do with it. I think I might just end up scanning it so that it's digital, so it doesn't take up space, because I don't use it a lot, but I don't want to get rid of it. But I have a large section of old reference material, things that were handed out or printed out at the time and probably don't have digital copies of. I don't know, of like patterns and things, and like, you know, a list of 15 techniques. And sometimes if I get stuck and I'm like, what's a new technique I haven't tried in a while, or an old technique, I'll go look at it. So, but everything it's in its place. Things are clean. So let's get on with day 6 and 7. By the way, I noticed this. I've been using this just as like I forgot what it's called, the thumbnail. What do they call it at the beginning of the video? The marker, something. Anyways, and I had never printed it until today. And as soon as I printed it, I'm like, that's not the right time. This should say 1500. So now I have to go change this original graphic that I made and then go replace this graphic on all the other ones because it bothers me. This got the wrong time on it. Okay. So we're going to deal with current and retired stamp sets. So what I'm doing, and we're right in the middle of a transition right now because we have new packaging that came out in November. Now, most people probably have a gajillion. Actually, I do have, just because I can't part with it and because I haven't converted it yet. I have it in the pile of, things to do. But I love this little stamp set. It's got these adorable little things that make really cute like tags and treats and stuff like this, especially the little happy bee day, because I like to say bee day instead of birthday. But these a little yum. Yeah, this is still wood mount. So back in the day when you would get your wood mount stamp sets and you have to put the labels on the block and you'd have to pop out. Now, before I started Stampin' Up, this was, I don't know how many years before me, but this used to come like this, and you used to have to cut your own stamps. Like they sold a good pair of rubber scissors, and you used to cut around your stamp set, stick it on the wood block, stick the sticker on the block. So this, I will eventually convert this one just because I like this one. I had 2 of them. And so I kept the new one and I sold the used one because it was all stuck together. Because this one I'm not going to stick on the blocks. But I will tell you that I do save these blocks because I use them in my like carousel or other stuff, or you can make really cute like little gifties for stampers out of them. So anyway, so that's the old packaging in the clamshell. Then we have the new packaging, and then we have the even newer packaging. So when the packaging came out, this is a bit of a sidetrack, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. When the packaging first came out, I was like, oh, awesome, less space. And then I got it and I'm like, oh, but I have a system and I like to be able to look at the spine and do I like it? I do like it. And part of it was just wrapping my head around it and deciding what I was going to do. But I will tell you the biggest space saving here. Let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Wow. Let's just pull one of these out. There we go. There's 11 of the new packaging. I'm just holding them straight up. I'm not squishing them together or anything. I'm just kind of holding them so they're straight. This is 11. This is 11. This is a third, maybe about a third, the size of the, right? So 1/3, 2/3 of the box. So this is when you have hundreds of stamp sets that you're trying to fit, and I have decided this is how many I have, 9 baskets, right? Nope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. 12 baskets of retired stamp sets. And I have 2 baskets for the current. Not the current's usually the problem. And that's it. I'm not allowed to have any more. If they do not fit neatly in the organization system, not keeping them. With my retired ones, I am going to put the baskets. I do keep my stamps alphabetically. I've tried alphabetically by theme, by, whatever. Alphabetically just works for me. They're all mixed up right now. There's like no rhyme or reason to them right now, because when I was moving the shelves, I was sort of like, you take something off to move something to put to move, and things went in a different configuration because the other one didn't really work. So they're all whatever, but generally my stamps are alphabetical. So I do have the baskets with the current stamp sets. And I like to be able to just go and go, I need, and a lot of times I will remember the names. I don't always, but I can usually pretty quickly, as soon as I start flipping, go, oh, right. Woolly Friends. That's what that one's called. It's adorable, by the way. That's not it. I just saw the name. There we go. Woolly Friends. And it is adorable. This little sheep. Oh, come on. So this system is gonna work for me. Like I said, I think I said at the beginning, dollar store baskets. And they happen to work just fine. Now it's a big, I mean, the Stampin' Up world, when they said they were coming up with new packaging, people got excited. And a lot of the discussion was, are you going to convert it? You're going to keep it? How are you going to mix and match? What are you going to do? I've come up with my answer. So I'm going to show you. And this is the discovery I made the other day. Remember I told you when I had to put this piece of paper away? I came up with like my earth-shattering discovery of how I'm going to do it. And it's not even that earth-shattering. And maybe somebody else has already figured this out. For me, though, I had to find a system that I liked and that would work for what I had and how I was planning to do things. So that's what I'm going to tell you today. So first I'm going to start with current stamps. So mine are in 2 baskets. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to give you an idea because we're going to get to the whole packaging thing. That's the exciting part. By the way, if you are out there, feel free to comment. I don't always say that. I would love for people to comment and I can chat with you and I can sort of multitask to a point. So but I always forget to say it. And when I was doing it on my phone, I did a live on my phone. That was a disaster because the whole getting it to work afterwards. But I noticed like comments on there. So I'm curious why on my phone, and it was like other people and not even content related, but why that triggered comments so quickly, but whatever. Okay, so I want to say December of 2024, I think, is when Stampin' Up got rid of like retiring lists and the clearance rack and switched to the last chance products. So that's a different system. And everybody's got it like figuring out how they're doing stuff their own way. And I do look, sometimes I will reference it. I more often than not will just go to the website and look. So if you just go to Stampin' Up's website and you go to the little hamburger in the corner, and it gives you all your stuff and you go shop products. Not that you're probably reading, I'm saying what they say anyways. Shop products and scroll down to where it says stamps and hit shop all. I can't actually see what I'm doing at this angle. Why is nothing happening? Nothing's happening because I want it to happen. Oops, I hit shop all before I had backed out one too many. Sorry. Stamps. Oh, we'll do that one. Come on. There we go. So it'll just give you all of the stamps. Now, this works for me because I know what stamps I've bought. I can't always remember. Sometimes I have to go look if somebody says, hey, do you have this stamp set? And I know I bought it and I know it was in the retired at one point. I just don't know if I still have it. Sometimes I have to look. But when I look at this, like these new stamps, I bought that. I did not buy, did not buy, did not buy, bought. This one is from years ago. Bought, did not buy, bought. Right? I can tell you right off the bat. So I'm just using this though, and I wish these were in a different order. I thought alphabetical would work for me, but I thought that they generally listed everything by item number. So the newest would always show up first, which is quite convenient most of the time, right? But in this case, like Trusty Tools came out 2 or 3 catalogs ago. One of the minis, I think. Some of these are from this is from the last annual catalog. That's from the annual catalog. This is from the Christmas mini. I think that was an online exclusive. I can't remember. So I'm not exactly sure what order it is, but because I can remember what I bought, this works for me. The other thing it will tell me right away, which helps me, is if you look underneath, and without even being able to read any of the letters, you can tell these are current stamp sets. And this one is last chance, because you can see the big, huge fuchsia bar that says last chance. This one happens to be on sale, so there's a price underneath. Not all the last chance stuff is, but you can see like last chance jumps out at you, right? So, and I will tell you, it's just kind of funny. So I'm very disappointed that these 2 stamp sets are retiring. And I know that I will keep them in my stash because they're awesome. But sometimes I get so disappointed when I scroll through here and I'll see a stamp set, because sometimes I'll buy a stamp set and I'm like, it's okay. It's not what I was expecting. No. And when I look at this list and I'm like, they didn't put it on the last chance. I'll be actually like wishing for it to be on the last chance list, and it won't. And I think one of them was like 2 years of like, are you kidding me? You still are retiring that thing. So I get very excited when the ones I don't want to keep get on the retirement list. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so this is what I do. I start at the top and I just go through my bin. So right now I have 2, so it's easy enough. So the first one will say with you in mind. I'm not actually sure what's in this bin. Trusted Tools is. This one's one of the ones I just saw as current, right? So I will pull out the ones that are current and set them off to the side. And last, actually, usually I leave the current ones in the bin. I just have it backwards right now. And pull the last chance ones out, right? How about I do it this way? Right, so I'm pulling the last chance ones out. I'm leaving the current ones in. Then I can resort them into alphabetical order. And away I go. The ones that are last chance, I pull out because by the time I do my retired product sale in June, most of them will have been discontinued. Like most of them will sell out by then. If not, I always double check beforehand. And if they haven't, then that's fine. I will just set them off to the side and not sell them until they do. The ones that I pull out that are retired that I'm going to keep, that's fine. I just pop them right in the. Good Lord, new neighbors moving in. The dog is getting used to the sound of kids in the backyard. They have a dog, which I have not heard yet. Every time. Rascal. Enough. So quiet doesn't work. So I've started using the word enough. Or somehow, I don't know, it seems to work. But when you tell them to be quiet, there's usually the and then it's like it's like this wind down of I'm fighting it. I know what you said. I'm fighting it. Anyway, I'm going to show you, I think, on this one. Okay, so this is the new packaging. See, now the dog just rang the bell at the back door because now he wants to go up and see what he's barking at in the backyard. Oh, I swear to God today. Quiet. So this is how the new packaging comes, right? Stamp set, dies. This is how, with the old packaging, how I did it. Here's the stamp set, but I would have added my, not stamp loose, I would have added my dies. And I will Tetris this thing to make it fit. Like this would have been 2 or 3 of like the cardboard sheets that come in the package. I will make it fit. There is very few, other than the ones that like the North Pole delivery, the one that makes the little treat packaging is wider than the stamp case. Okay, I can't do anything about that. But I will make this fit. Believe me, my Tetris skills are strong. And generally what I do is once I do get it to fit, I'll take a picture of it. I have a point on my phone, a little album that says reference. And so I will take it and I will save the picture in there. So the next time if I pull a bunch of pieces out and then I'm struggling to get them back in, I could just go to my little phone, look at the reference and go, oh, that's how I did it, and put them in the same way. I will probably still do that with some of the trickier sets. The new packaging, the advantage, one of the other advantages to this new packaging is I'm not limited, like they're taller. So sets like this where you really got to struggle to get all of the dies on one sheet or all of the stamps on one, like will be much easier in the new packaging. But anyways, I always liked mine together, right? So I'm carrying on with that. So I've already done this one. I'll show you with the other one how I do it. But so I like to take this, right? So I'm going to pop these out. Here's the beauty. All my old sets that I want to convert, I now have an empty case. You can buy these. You buy them as a pack of 10, $20-ish. I did buy a pack of them. And I put them away so that they would be handy. So you know what happens when you put something away? Yeah, I'll find it eventually. I think it's probably in behind something. And they're not, it wasn't very big, right? But anyways, every time I buy a new bundle, I'm going to have an extra one of these. So every time I'm going to start converting some of the ones that, I'm not going to convert just anything, but ones that I know I'm going to keep long-term, or Some of the current ones that I think will be around for a while, I will probably do that just to keep them in the new packaging. But I'm limited by space. So the more I can put in new packaging, the more I can keep, right? So this is what I'm going to do with my stamp sets. And this is what the part that I figured out about the stamps makes me so happy. Okay, so there's the stamps. So I'm putting the dies in the backside, and I'm putting my little piece of magnet. And you'll notice this is a much smaller piece of magnet, but this is all the dies in the set. I don't need a huge piece. Go this way. I like that they decided this is what they were going to do, but I'm so used to looking at dies that I prefer to look at the dies because I can tell what it's going to do looking at the die. And that's what I want. I don't know. And I think part of me, I guess, maybe also thinks that if I try to stick these dies, which are open, there's nothing covering them in between the layers, I'm going to knock the dies off. But I just like to be able to see this. Now, in my case, this is what I see, friendly foliage. But I get used to the sets enough, I think, that I know I do struggle every now and again. I will be like, because I'll know there's a stamp set that has a great label, but I can't, necessarily find. So back in the day, I would have to take the stamp sets and I'd look at it, is it a Trusty Tools one? Take it out, open it up, and go, nope, not the label. Cool background piece, because this little pegboard thing just makes a cool background behind your sentiment. Nope, not that one. Take the next one out, open it up. I think with this one, especially because I'm going to hold them in a bin, so all of my stamps are going to be facing this way, right? And I'll be able to go flip, flip, flip. But if I know there's like a die that has a great label in it, all I have to do is take my basket out, turn it around, and flip, 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 and I can look at these, right? So to me, I think it is just I think the system's going to work beautifully. Now, here is what I discovered when I made this one. Two things, by the way, because I'm not going to pull this whole thing out. When you take the case out from the other one, this one I cut, or I folded it so that the side label was there, and then I just trimmed this off so that it would fit in here. And then afterwards I thought, I don't need to trim it. So I tried it with this one, and it works just beautifully. So I'm popping this out, right? So I don't know if I mentioned, with the other one, I used to take the labels, the insert that came with the dies. And in this case, because that was such a big set, it was one of the square ones. Usually they're the same shape as this. And I always kept these because on the bottom, it tells you how many dies are in the set. So if I don't have a picture of it, I just like to be able to quickly look and see and count the dies and make sure they're all there, right? So that's what I did before. So now with these ones, you can take it like this and just push down in the middle as you're folding, and just fold in your I forgot what the side of it is, right? And we can put this in here. Now, because these are shorter, if you jam it all the way to the bottom, when you go to file, you're not going to be able to see it as much. So I think just when you put it in, you're just going to hold it up closer to the top. And once the stuff is in here, I mean, this one doesn't have dies or stamps in it, but once the stuff is in there, it'll hold. These aren't going to be as pristine, but eventually you're not going to have as many of these that you're looking at very often, and they're all going to look like this, right? I don't know if Stampin' Up! Has any plans at any point to make this size of old, like, retired sets. But there are some demos out there who like their stuff organized a certain way, who will. And some of those demos are extremely generous and may share them with you and just say, here's some of the more current stamp sets, like this Tools one, right, is still current. Maybe somebody's going to go and make a tool one that prints this size so you can print it out on paper so that it fits perfect. Like, who knows what you might find. I personally am quite okay with just holding it up towards the top so that when I go like this, I can see Trustees. And even if it sinks down a little bit, it's still fine, right? So that's how I'm going to do it with my old sets into my new case. So now I got a new one there. This is how I mix and match the new ones. Okay. But here's the part that made me so incredibly happy. I'm going to put this away. I buy my magnet sheet off Amazon. I'll have the link in my Amazon section when I get that set up. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow because I have to take in the car for service and sit there for a couple hours. So maybe I will find all the links and set that up and do some research on their free Wi-Fi. The sheets I buy are 8 by 10. So I used to just cut a strip off so that it would be 7 by 10 and then cut it in half. And I had two 5 by 7 sheets, which was the perfect size for the old stamp cases. Hence the reason I have all these 1-inch strips. 1-inch strips of magnet make magnetic bookmarks, right? This is a sideways one, but normally they go this way, like longwise, which I have one. I'm not sure what I have it clipped on right now, something. But piece of DSP, so I am not worried about all these 1-inch strips because one day they will all be bookmarks. With the new setup, so like I showed you with this friendly foliage one, where'd my snowflakes go? Snowflakes are a good example. I just needed a small piece, right? There's not that many dies in there. I didn't need a huge one. This was, I didn't even cut this piece. This piece was just left over from something. Probably this one. This one, however, I needed more than, so this is what the old size would have been, 5x7. And I had a couple of them that were already cut that size. So this is what the 5x7 one would have been, right? So just having that little bit extra has made this work so much better. So now instead of cutting, I'm just going to cut them as I need them. And I have like some various different pieces. This long skinny one that's left from I don't know what sizes I was cutting might end up being like some of the dies are just small, or maybe this will be the perfect size for some long skinny dies that come with something and just trim it off, right? So I no longer, because this system is still kind of evolving, I no longer have like a set thing of magnet, but that's what I do with my magnet sheet anyway. And they sit in this tray and it fits into the bottom little cubby in my desk. So they're always there, nice and easy. I don't know about you guys. So I'm going to do this, and I am going to plan on doing this with like almost all of my stamp sets that are in this new case now. Actually, no, sorry, that is not correct. I plan to do this with all stamp sets that I put in these cases. Am I going to do it today and tomorrow? Probably not. It's going to take a bit more time, but I will do it. As I pull them out to use it, I will do it. One of the things I was going to tell you, so when we used to get our stuff, one of the things I would always suggest to people is when you buy all your new stamp sets and a new catalog just launched, right? So you got new stamp sets coming in, would be to get your stamp sets ready. So like take them out, mount them, put on the labels, get everything done. So when you go to use them, you can just grab a stamp and use it. You're not getting them all set up or putting the labels on. So now we don't really have to do that now. But if you're like me and you want to get them set up, put the dies with the stamps. And I mean, before I did this, the dies and the stamps were sitting side by side. So people who want to keep them in 2 separate envelopes, I think some are keeping them in the same package side by side. Some are putting like stamps over here, dies over here in 2 different baskets, like whatever works for you. There's a lot less setup. Thing is, I used to love that part when a new order would come in, looking at all the new stuff. And as you would take the stuff out and do it, you get more familiar with the stamp set. Like as I look at these dies and stuff, I can tell how they work, right? But I also want to look at the stamp set and, oh, that's a hollow. Oh, this one fits inside of that one. Oh, is this the same, right? Or sometimes you just notice things you didn't notice before, like, oh, I didn't realize that sentiment was in there. Look how cute that is. Now, I've used this stamp set a few times already, so the stamps are they're all wonky on the thing already. But the new ones come with these 2 pieces of window sheet. So this one is kind of thicker window sheet. This is like a lighter cellophane. I'm going to put it up here because I was losing them on my desk because they're see-through. Where'd my tools go? So one of the things I liked before, oh, and I took it out now. Okay, so this sheet that was in here before, let me find one that's, I gotta find clear mount. I think this one's clear mount. This is also very well loved. What I really liked, and I can't remember when Stampin' Up! Started doing that, but one of the stamps fell on the floor somewhere. I just have to make sure it's not under my chair so I don't run over it. I will pick it up afterwards. Oh, must be this tiny little line, must be the one that fell out. Anyways, what I really liked about when they started doing this with their case is they started putting labels down. So you knew where to stick your stamp afterwards. Now they can do this because they have all the imagery. The frustrating part, like when you buy a kit or anything like that, and they have the little sheet with them, is your stamps go face down on it. And I was like, oh, it was always frustrating to me. But it is still, I like it. It's still better than nothing, basically, right? So this makes it easy to make sure you have all your stamps and also to figure out how to get them to fit on the sheet again, right? With these ones, I've noticed that once you start doing this, so like I made these, this is awesome bundle, by the way. So I took these off and I was stamping this, and I made the little foliage pieces that went with it. And I think I was using the get well soon sentiment. And then I went, oh, and I have this one going too. And then I went to go put them back on the thing, and I was like, well, okay, first off, do I have all of them? And secondly, how did they all fit on this little window sheet again? So I was like, I got to figure out a system for that. I also needed to figure out a system because the old stamp sets, like when you bought the old photopolymer one, I'm just going to do this for now. The ones that came in the case, they still came between those same two sheets. But I would pull my stamp set off, mount it on here because they had the little piece of paper in the back, and turf or repurpose those little clear sheets. So I don't have any of them. So when I went to do this one, same thing. I want to put this in this case, partially because these dies are huge. I'm not going to pull all this stuff back out again, but the dies are in behind here, right? And they're huge. So I have like the maximum size, that's where that strip came from, piece of magnet sheet that I could fit in here so that I could get all the dies on it because they're big. But I needed to do something with the stamps, and the stamps I had no cellophane to work with. When I came up with this idea, I was so excited. And I'm going to assume that I am not the only person who's ever come up with this idea. But I thought of this the other day when I was cleaning. I haven't really had time to go look because sometimes you can just go online and research what other people have done, and maybe it's your solution. But I hadn't got that far. Yes, this is a very well-used stamp set as well. But then I came up with this answer to solve this problem and realized it also solves the current problem. So, oh my goodness, was I excited. So here's my solution. And like all stamp sets, when you have two of them and you pull them apart, some will stick to one side and some will stick to the other side, but whatever. They all, as soon as you fold it back up again, they all go there. So this is what I came up with. I made my own background piece, and I used the clear envelope because this makes the back a little stronger because we have window sheet. Okay, so window sheet, Stampin' Up! Sells window sheet. It's very hard to see because it's clear, right? You get two pieces of 12 by 12. So I use it usually for littler things, right? So I have all these like little bits and pieces of it. So for bigger stamp sets, like I think this one. Yeah. So for a stamp set like this, I will use two pieces of window sheet because I'm never going to be able to fit this into the size that I'm left with this envelope because it's just a big stamp set. Most of them are going to fit here. And there's nothing wrong with using window sheet, and you could use half window sheet, half one of these envelopes if you wanted to. The window sheet comes 6 by 6 though. So this is 5, I want to say 4.5 by 5 and a bit. If you cut window sheet to match the size of this, you're going to have lots of leftover strips of window sheet. Now, not that there's not tons of projects you can do with that, but it may not be your most economical use of the window sheet. So I'll show you how I got this first one. I will do this one because I need to do it anyways, but I'll pretend like I don't have pieces for it. So this is what I did. I took my window sheets. This is a used window sheet. I'll take another one because that'll just be frustrating me. Or not window sheet, sorry, clear envelope. So here's the thing too, these clear envelopes, which I looked because they're on low inventory, so maybe other people have figured this out. These things are genius. You can mail a card in this, right? So you can take your card in your envelope, a card and envelope will fit inside of this clear envelope. It's just slightly bigger than our regular ones. And put a stamp and a label on it with an address and mail it. So it's kind of cool because you get like a sneak peek, right? Okay, so I'm just taking my little box cutter, Ofa knife. My family, these are Ofa knives. This is clear. I don't know, maybe if I did this, would it be easier to see? Yeah, a little bit. So, and I very just carefully went down. I mean, it's window sheet. It's easy to cut. I went down 2 sides of it. Just put just the slightest little bit of pressure on it so that it stays right on the line. 2 sides. And now I have this, right? So, and I have this, I guess you could do whichever way you want. If you want to have like a little tab to pull on, you can. If you want to be able to close these and seal it, you can. For me, this piece sticking up just gave me something bigger to grab. But so I have like this, right? So now all I need is the piece underneath, like with whatever's in it stamped. Okay. So I have lots of scrap cardstock. So yeah, 4.5. This one is 5.5. So all you have to do is look and make sure. So my cardstock is pretty much the size of the main part, like going up to because this back is longer, but like the main part of this, right? So that is the piece. If I was trying to put it in there, I could show you. There we go, right? It's basically, I couldn't fit this size in with the sides attached, but as soon as I split the sides, this will fit. Okay, so we're going to set our little window sheet off to the side for now. I'm just going to put this down. And then this is the F block. And I did check, and they are still for sale. So we originally got these ages ago when they shifted from wood to clear, because this is the size of the background stamps, right? If you get the one big background stamp, it's this size. So this thing is great. It's also really good if you need to like set on something to like hold it down, because this thing is big. Okay. So here's what we're going to do though. I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to set it over top of my piece of paper so that I know, I basically can use the whole thing, but I don't want to get super close to the edges. Now, the other thing that I like to have the ability to do is when I do this stamp set, Stampin' Up! Does a great job. They put them on to make them fit, right? So I'll just take this back out. I don't have to keep showing you. So when they wanted to make this big stamp set fit in this block, this is what they did. Some of the stuff is upside down. Some of the stuff is different. This hammer, this is the handle. No, this is the handle of the hammer. This piece here goes with this. This piece goes with this. This piece goes with this, right? So I prefer the things that are side by side. So if there's a piece that goes together like two-step, one's the outline, one's the fill, I like them to be together. Now they didn't always have that, so I like to move my stamps around anyways. And if I can make it work, I will. This stamp set is not a very big stamp set, so this one's going to be quite easy to make work. But so these are the graphics, and I'm just putting this down. And I realize now I probably should have started with the sentiments because there's more of them. And then I'm going to put the sentiments down, and I do like if all the sentiments are actually facing the way you would actually read them, which again doesn't always work, but in this case, I'm pretty sure I can make it work. Oops. And again, it's good familiarization with the stamp set, because as I'm doing this, I'm reading all the stamps. Now, because I'm sitting at an angle here so that you can see this on camera, I'm realizing that I'm wasting lots of space there. This one here. Move this one down a little. And you could check afterwards. This is when you're not trying to make it work on camera. This is super easy to do. Okay, that's up there. This one can still go there. And then we have, and I do find if you put the biggest stuff first, the small stuff is what you can generally fit into the crevices. I'm just going to move this one down. I kind of want this to be up. This is just me being picky. There's no need to be this picky. It's just me. And then this one is going to fit here. Which way is upside? Which? Yeah, that was upside down. There we go. So that fits like that. Okay, there's my stamp set. Now I'm going to take my little memento, and I'm going to ink up all of my stamps at once. So yes, like I said, I'm going to do this with all of the ones that I put in this case, just because I like it. I don't like to wonder if I've missed one, because sometimes I will get going and I will use 4 to 5 different stamp sets. I think when we did my desk to begin with, 2, 4, 6, I have at least 5 of most of the things. 1, 2, 3. I probably have 60 blocks sitting on my desk. And they're always there, all the different sizes and multiples. I'm trying to do a good job at this just because I'm a stamper. Does it really matter? No, but nonetheless. So sometimes if I'm using multiple stamp sets, I won't actually remember if I 100% got all of the stamps back in the case. So I do like that, but I also, like I said, like to be able to figure out how to do it. Now, yes, I'm being picky, and I'm trying to make sure that they're lined up and it's straight, and but nonetheless, it doesn't have to be perfect. But I like it when it is. Okay, so I'm going to set that off to the side now, because now it's all inky. I did not get my chamois wet. That one's just slightly damp, so we'll have to do that afterwards, and I'll wash it. Okay, sorry, I'm going to stick my hand in that, so I'm just going to move that over there. I'll put my little ink pad away. Okay, so now I have my piece of cardstock. I just realized that if I don't wash these off, I can't show you what I'm doing. Sorry, that was just like a bit of realization there. Okay, it's not super wet, but I think I can get most of. I'll get the ones that don't have as much ink on them. I do have baby wipes in my desk, which I could have used those instead. But no, I like to do things the hard way. Okay, so if I knew I was going to sit down to do this, if I hadn't been so frustrated with technology and the dog barking during my video, my brain would have probably worked a little better. Well, I guess it was wet enough because those are fairly clean. There we go. Okay. So now, I'm going to take, there we go. I'm going to take the piece of window sheet because this is actually the stamp set that does have one, but all my things are clear. But imagine this is a retired stamp set. I'm using, actually, you know what? I'll use this. I'll just do it backwards. It's fine. Okay. So I'm going to take my snail. It doesn't have to be anything like super adhesive or anything. I don't think this is going to become a problem, but I also don't know that I want to put glue on this. I think if you put glue over top of your ink, you're going to make it run everywhere. So I'm thinking you want to use tear and tape or seal would be my, I didn't actually try it with glue because I didn't want to make a mess. Now here's my clear envelope, which I realize is so hard to see, but here's my clear envelope. The taller side is at the back, just because that's how I choose to do it. And it's split open so that I can pull this piece forward. And I'm going to stick it in the bottom corner. And I'm just going to lay it down straight over top and squish, right? And actually, even the ones that have the two pieces, I like the fact that this is attached and I'm not going to lose it. So it is totally possible I will change all of mine to this method, even though this one actually came with the pieces. Okay, so now I pull this open, take my little piece there. And it's still, because I'm limited by the stamping part, I am still putting like the stamp side down. I'm not putting the flattest side that like I want to, but that's okay because it still works. So now I'm just basically putting my stamps back over top. They don't have to be exact. I know you're thinking, but Tracey, you are so picky about everything else. I usually am. And I will adjust and try to make them work. But in this case, I mean, you guys are all watching me and I don't want you to sit there and have to suffer my pickiness. So I'm going to put all these stamps back on here. Oops, that one was crooked. Oh no. It's okay. Get well soon. You're in my heart and on my mind and in my heart. That's kind of nice. Sending love. There we go. And then I just close this up over top. That one's close at the bottom, so I should actually just do like this so it actually goes straight. There we go. So now, where did I do my stamp set? There we go. So now when I go to stamp something with this, and I'm going to pull this thing out, and I'm going to open it up, and like I said, it's hit or miss. This case, well, there we go. They all stayed. And I look at this thing, and I'm going to take this one off, and I'm going to make my picture, and I'm going to put this one on it. And when it's time to go, because I now have 17 things on my desk, this is the obvious one that goes back, and I'm going to be like, okay, good. Oh, wait a minute. I'm missing the get well soon stamp. So then I'm going to find the get well soon stamp. I'm going to put it back there. So now I know I have them all, and I'm going to close this up. And I'm going to open this. And in this case, I like to see this picture. I'm fine with this. I like to see the other one. Like guys is different than stamps. And so I'm just going to take this and pop this in here. Now, I'm working on a project with this. So I can't show you. Which other one do I have that I have in there? Normally, when so I have my dies here, my stamps here, close it off, boom, I'm good to go for the next time. Now, normally when I'm working on something, like when I make this project, oh, actually I can't show you because I know where it is, because I organized it the other day. Just a minute. Oh, good. Something. Okay, so I have, these are my project bins because I'm actually working on something. So normally when I do this, one of the first things I do, so this is like my sample card that's not quite finished, is I will run through and I'll cut all the pieces out just to see what they look like and just to give me some ideas. And in the case of this one, there's so many different ways you can cut. Like you can cut just the outline, you can cut the outline with the inside, you can cut just the inside, right? So I had all these like little samples, plus I made some extras and I tried some different colors, and I tend to put them also in a clear envelope. So now, and sometimes it got very squishy in the old clamshells or in the video cases, but now I can also take this and throw it in the same package. So when I go to do this, I saw Tamara do this because at first I did it in my little CD cases all the time. But when it came to doing this, I'm like, oh, I guess I just won't. And then I saw her, she said she just sticks them in the middle. And I was like, well, what the heck, man? So now I put these in. So now these are in the middle, which I'm going to pull them back out again, though, because they're part of the project I'm working on. But so I have all my bits and pieces. The other thing that is beautiful about these things is you can jam a lot of stuff in here. So this one is, I did it backwards, I can see, but is the Festive Friends bundle, which you'll see is in one of these cases, because I got to tell you, I love these guys, and I will be keeping this bundle for a long time. So this one, I don't even know what it's on. This is the little mask, which I also tend to keep in the packaging, so that if you want to make a card, there we go, I'm pulling everything up. If you want to make a card where you have multiples of something, it's too far to reach. But I made one that had, as you can tell, and I don't know, had like 15 of these elves, a big crowd of elves on it. So if I make a mask, I usually just stick it on the inside of the case. So I continue to do that. And then this one, I just cut a piece of window sheet. I didn't, this was before I had my genius idea, so I don't have it the other way, but I will finish this one now. But I just wanted to show you that these are the clear mounts, the red rubber stamps. So I really should be putting a piece over top of them. I'm just going to put this one for now. But just wanted to let you know that, yes, this system works for them too. This envelope is a little thicker, but they fit just fine, dies on the back. So it does not matter if they are the photopolymer or the red rubber, you can still use this system. In the case of this one, I have added on my extra little dude there, but this one is the Snowy Delights one, and it comes with masks. And so I've made like little templates of what each mask looks like, and I have popped it in here, as well as the masks themselves. So this, if I'm not trying to sell you on the new packaging, I realize it sounds like it's a commercial, sales commercial for the new packaging, but there are a lot of benefits to it because these all fit in here now. Whereas because these are very big, I would have had to have a whole bunch, like these would have had to be individual sheets to fit in the CD case, and then they would have been so thick that they would have been constantly sticking to the stamps. So I'm quite taken with this, but so yeah, if you have masks, the masks and if you make samples will fit in the same case. This one I didn't actually try. This one is, I didn't put the stamps in this one, but oh, there's my little, this is, I guess, this is the storage tips part of this thing for you. See, this one I did the same thing. I just stuck it in there without. That's why I didn't have them in the same case, because I hadn't figured this out yet. And I didn't want the ones that were in a case. I put on window sheet, but I didn't want to use two pieces of window sheets. So I did it. I just put them on one, and then I had it so that if it stuck to anything, it stuck to the case. So here's the other thing, though, with this one. I have this sticky note that was, I'm going to have to trim this a little bit. It was stuck to the inside of the CD case, but I can't do that on this one, so I'm going to stick it this way. I'm just going to put just the tiniest little bit so that it'll come back off if I want it to, of seal. And I'm going to find a place just up here in the corner. I'm trying not to block the writing. So when I go to stamp classes and do various different things, I will bring a ton of D blocks, a ton of everything, but I don't always bring the E block, which is this size, and I never bring the F block. Like, unless I see a note that says you need the F block. I never bring this when I go somewhere. So this one, when I pull it out, because it's got this sticky on it, right away I noticed the sticky because these are bigger. This one I think is intended that maybe you could squish it on there somehow. But I find if the stamp gets too close to the edge, I find it hard to see it, like the edge distorts it. So F block. So in this case, I'm just going to leave my little note on there. But I am pretty sure that even with all of those masks and all of those samples, that this is all going to still fit in one case. If it doesn't, and I have to do it in two, it's not, oh, see, there you go, that fit, no problem. It's not a big deal. But I can easily fit that into one. So guess what? Boop, one more stamp set to convert. And I found, because this little slidey thing, the little tab goes in, that if it's flat down, you're going to hit this. But if you just push on the sides a little bit, it pops this thing open and it goes in, no problem. Because this was hitting, I had this genius idea. Because you know me and my genius ideas. And I thought, what if I went through the bottom and I tabbed it out this way? And it works. It goes in quite like this, right? So now the tab is out. But when I did it on the other packaging, we'll see if it's, no, it's not. Here's the thing though. It closes really nice, right? And now your tab doesn't hit your dies. It's a bugger to get back open though, because you have nothing to grab onto. So don't do that. I was so happy with I'm like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh, I forgot to put something in. And I went right away to try to do it. And you basically have to like push on the tab to pull on the thing to get. So trust me, the easier way is just to put a little pressure, like these two fingers. I'm putting a little pressure on the side so that it pops up and it will hold it up enough that you don't hit your dies. And some people would be putting the dies in between the inserts anyway, so whatever. But look at this. So all of this stuff is going to take so much less packaging. It's going to be a genius. So that's all the organizing and things I've learned in my little, I was so excited about this packaging thing. When I did this, I was giddy for hours afterwards. I am so happy with this solution. It's amazing. But I'm also really happy with how much less space all these things take up. And I am going to have a lot of fun because, like I said, I love this. It's like coloring. It was just such a give your mind a break and just so relaxing. I loved the whole prepping my stamp set stage. That I can't wait to like convert some of these other things over. And so I'm going to go back though, because the main task today is making sure, and I told you this at the beginning, I have a business, so I keep my current and my retired separate, just so it's easier if I want just current stuff, that's what I grab for my own personal use. And if I'm making treat holders for people or whatever, I use whatever I want. For the cards and stuff that we do at class, I try to keep it current so that if somebody wants it, they can get it. Not because I'm all about the sales, but because it's kind of frustrating when people are like, oh my God, that stamp set is amazing. Can I get that? And I say, no, I'm just a big old tease. No, right. So it is partially just because it's less disappointing for other people. So yeah, go through, pick out all the ones that are current. I do know, and I know Tamara did, I tried to do it. I just couldn't get behind it. It didn't work for me. But when we had the spine, that was the word I was trying to look up before. When you have the spine of the thing, a lot of people put stickers on the spine. So like if you want to keep all your stamps together, one thing I would suggest is you could put like anytime, like this one, I think this one is retired. I don't actually know. A whole bunch of them, because they're switching over and getting rid of all the red rubber. I think any of the red rubber ones, they retired. Not 100% sure. But I could put like a little red sticky in the corner of this, and then I would know it was retired. So as I was flipping through, I could very quickly know. But I want like the closest, lowest, easy to get to stamps to be the ones I use the most that are current. If you're keeping your dies and your stamps separate, you could put a little sticky on here. Like if there's a set of dies, put a blue sticky on here so that you know it has a stamp set to go with it. I think we have very few dies that are standalone dies that you wouldn't look at and go, I wonder if there's a stamp set for that. I think you would just know. Same as if there's a punch, you could have a different color sticker on here, or I guess if you really don't care and you want to write on your case, you could just put a D on the corner or a P on the corner to let you know there's a punch or a die to go with it. I don't know. My system works like this. I don't have that many punches, like current punches, that I can't figure out which one has punches. So I'm going to finish this today. I'm going to go through. I'm going to make sure that all of the stamps that are left in the bottom are current. And because I'm having so much fun with this, I'm going to convert things over because I made a mess on my desk. So this one, yes, I'm going to do between 2 sheets of window sheet with, I don't remember what project it was I did, but I happen to have a whole bunch of these like 5 by 8.5 strips of white paper. So I'm going to start with this and just see how much of it I need, because I know that even if I use the entire sheet, it's still going to fit in here. And then I'll just cut the window sheet afterwards, and Bob's your uncle. So there we go. Day 6, current stamps. Go through, set them up, make sure you got everything you need. If any of these organization tips helped, I'm happy that helped for you. I'm quite happy that I have figured out how I want to do mine, and I have a system now. I'm super excited to get started doing all of them. Take your retired stamp sets, indicate them, put them in a separate spot, decide which ones you're keeping, donating, selling, go through all of that. Tomorrow, you're basically going to finish up what you started today that you didn't finish. More than likely, current, you'll get through today. The retired stuff may be a little bit longer. So some of them, and just to give you an idea, because I'm not going to do a video, I don't remember if I said that. I'm not going to do a video tomorrow for the retired ones, but sometimes I'll look and I'll be like, okay, so this one retired. Well, I have a different elf stamp set. I like this one better, right? Because I mean, that was a big draw for me with this adorable little elf. So do I need 2 stamp sets? Yes, this one is all elves. This one just has 1 elf. Do I need 2? I like this elf better. I'm keeping this one. Plus it has all these other things that I want to keep. So that one goes. If I look at them and go, nope, this one does this one does this, I'm keeping them both, then fine. I will reiterate, I am not telling you to get rid of anything. I do not want you to have any regrets. I do not want a month from now you to be mad at me because you think I said you had to get rid of stamp sets. You do not. You don't have to separate them. You don't have to do anything. As part of our organizing, I want you to go through your stamp sets, give them a good look, make sure what you have, make sure they're clean and ready to go, make sure your cases are good, whatever works for you. Just give your stamp sets a review. You have 2 days because chances are you got a lot of stamp sets like me. All right. I will be back on Wednesday, but Wednesday is a bit of a busy day for me too. So that will likely be a recording just so I can like pan around and show you stuff. But come Wednesday, I will show you that I have managed to get what I'm doing into the space allotted. And I think I'm going to have a lot of extra space on my currents because they are retiring a lot this time, I think, because of the switchover. So happy organizing. I will not be live or recording tomorrow. I will be back on Wednesday. I realized my live is at the same time as my thing. I'll figure that out. I'll be back twice on Wednesday, I guess. Woohoo! So good luck with your stamp sets. Happy organizing. If you have any questions, pop me a message. All right. Bye.